Hey, how are you doing? Wow, we're up to stage 8 of this course already. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? With this video, we kind of complete the main basic points of writing a composition. We'll be talking about the conclusion once more as a continuation of last week. The last 4 videos in this series will be looking at special types of compositions and a few skills you need to remember to improve the finer aspects of your writing skills. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's have a look at how to write the conclusion while referring to the future. Once again, we'll be following the same simple pattern in this video. In fact, I don't think the video will take that long this week. It will all depend on whether I get sidetracked or not, I guess. So in the last video, I gave some ideas and showed some examples of how a composition can be summarized in the conclusion. I then asked you to put a little more effort into your conclusion when you wrote your composition last week. This week, we are going to be talking about the future. I say the future, but it probably isn't 100% accurate. We are actually looking at what happened after the main focus of the body of our compositions. Let me explain that a little more clearly. When you are writing your composition, try to think of your conclusion as the next step in a timeline. So if you are talking about an event or person from the past, the conclusion can concentrate on what has happened after that event and up to now. You can also talk about what is actually happening now. So for example, if you were to write a composition about man going to the moon in 1969, your conclusion could talk about how that influenced space travel and exploration in the 1970s, 1980s, and right through to today. You can also talk about space travel that is happening right now. If you wrote a composition about an issue occurring right now, such as the smoking in restaurants topic I gave you last time, your conclusion could discuss possibilities for the future, that is, in the next 10 years or so. If you wrote about an event happening in the future, for example, appropriate cities to hold the Olympic Games in the future, you could think about benefits that would happen after that event. The main point you need to think about is focusing your conclusion on one time step after the main focus of your composition. If you can do that, you'll be okay. Let's look at this week's example. Probably the easiest way to show the timeline in the conclusion at work is in a composition that introduces a historical figure. This week, I've chosen a famous Australian, Ned Kelly. Of course, I expect you to read through the entire composition and check out the parts we've talked about before, like the background information, thesis statement, topic sentences, and so on. But in this video, we're going to have a quick look at the conclusion. As soon as you see the conclusion, you can immediately recognize that it is referring to a time after the years that Ned Kelly was alive. You can see this because the conclusion starts with "since his death." The story about Ned Kelly was based in the past, so this conclusion is looking at what happened between the time Ned Kelly was alive and today. We see the present perfect in full force here in clauses such as artists have painted, singers have written, and books have been dedicated. We also see that in modern times, Ned Kelly has an influence on society. You can see this where it says, even today, it is fashionable. This is a pretty good conclusion to finish up a story about a person from history. And what a coincidence, this week's Your Turn task is for you to write a story about an outstanding figure in Japanese history. You are welcome to refer to sites on the internet and use photos if you like. However, if you do this, please make sure you acknowledge those sites appropriately, as you would have seen in the story about Ned Kelly. We'll get onto citations and references in the next couple of videos, but for now, let's just keep it simple. Okay, that's it. We're done for this week. Make sure you do your usual preparation for class, and we'll be ready to have a good discussion about writing compositions. Till then, be good.